Florida.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm now pleased to yield 3 minutes to the gentleman from Nebraska, Mr. Fortenberry.
Gentleman from Nebraska is recognized for 3 minutes.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I believe that it is critical for us to provide a clear vision for U.S. foreign policy to represent the best of the United States of America. And I want to thank Chairman Berman and Ranking Member Ross-Lehtinen for their efforts to bring this important measure to the floor today. Mr. Speaker, a Muslim cleric once whispered to me, "Do not forget the goodness of America. America is justice." And while much has changed in the world in recent years, the core ideals that made the United States a generous, principled, and prosperous nation, the commitment to justice for all, remain unchanged. We are now entwined in a more interdependent world, which entails the potential for great good or great harm. We can innovate to build sustainable capacities to help all persons achieve their full potential. Or we can find ourselves in a race against time in seeking to prevent advanced technological capacities such as nuclear weapons development from serving tyrannical purposes that aim to destroy and to subjugate free people to coercive ideologies. While not always popular, I believe it is essential to engage other nations as a force for good in the world by maintaining a robust and effective diplomatic and assistance framework. This is why I do support some of the more aggressive proposals contained in this measure, such as the augmentation of foreign service officers at the Department of State and the United States Agency for International Development. We simply cannot respond to monumental changes in the world with an overextended workforce and diminished capacities to accomplish complex and difficult assignments. However, it does concern me that many people throughout the world hold a dualistic view toward our country, given the nature of the system of government that we have been very fortunate to inherit and now must shepherd. People of the world look to us for hope and see the United States as a force for great good. However, on the other hand, they are wary of the imposition of controversial Western-style notions upon them. For instance, pursuant to Secretary Clinton's recent testimony before the House Foreign Affairs Committee, we are now forced with a policy that equates abortion advocacy with health care advocacy, a policy that is very divisive in our own country and one that many nations around the world will repudiate. It is not consistent with internationally accepted notions of human rights. Such a policy will undermine the very relationships that we are seeking to strengthen through this measure. While I see great value in strengthening our foreign relations overall, I remain deeply concerned that the bill before us today provides a framework for injecting jarring and discordant notes from divisive and unresolved domestic disputes here in our country into U.S. foreign policy. We should be using this process to find our common ground, to develop the tools that actually bind the human family, lift weary human hearts around the world, provide justice for all, especially vulnerable persons, including the elderly, the mother and her unborn child, instead of and trying to propose the resistance to tyranny and twisted ideologies. I yield back.
Gentleman from California.
Yes, Mr.